Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's fantastic to see you here on a Sunday at 9 p.m. And this week we've got a very special treat for you. Would you please put your hands together for Carl, for James,
Hello. Woo!
and for the fabulous Mr. Tony Lee.
Hi,
Woo, woo, woo.
We've picked up a lot of new viewers recently. So if you've not seen the show before, or if you watched not comment, please, in the comments, give us a shout out. Say hello. Tell us your name, where you're from, your favorite series, and please your favorite character. We really want to hear from you because this show is the comments. We're kind of like Terry Wogan. It's how it works. So please say hello in the comments. And wow, this is like almost like a full enterprise we've got a plethora of track talent here. It's just incredible. How have you guys been?
Drunk?
Well, yes. Well, we all aspire to be a lawyer. It's, I mean,
In seriousness, lads, I've got my son to sleep about 30 seconds before we went live. It was that close.
okay.
James, you'll know this being a lawyer, but if it wasn't for the last minute, nothing would get done.
He doesn't charge by the minute. So because nobody has asked me and everyone wants to know,
Happy birthday.
My birthday's been recently. Our theme tune, our intro theme tune that we play. I'll let me just play it again quickly so everyone can enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah, that was actually done non-professionally.
Surely not.
No,
I
that
struggle
was,
with that one.
I CGI'd all of the graphics. I wrote the theme tune, performed the theme tune, including the drama, all of the bits. I wrote it and did it all myself, and it took me like an hour. I mean,
Thank you, Dennis Waterman.
Yeah, I am basically Dennis Waterman. So first of all, I'm a bit taller than him, a little bit.
Are you sure?
A little bit taller. First order of business, please. We are terribly sorry that we cancelled last week's show. Sadly, we had circumstances beyond our control. We weren't in the mood to do it. So, and the week before that, I believe was New Year's Eve or Christmas or something. So we've been off there for a little while, which we feel bad about because we've picked up some new viewers that have been clamoring to see us on the airwaves, and we've not been there. So
Welcome
apologies
back.
for that. And we're back tonight, and we've brought you a very special present. So the man that needs no introduction, James, is now going to introduce.
He needs no introduction. This gentleman here, it's Carl. He's from the north, and then that way. That's our friend Tony, who takes us on trips around London and shows us where all the coolest guitar shops are. And in fact, Tony, take us through the guitar behind you.
Well, I'm just going to say, so is this, because obviously when you're doing a Zoom call or something like that, you never know where you are in relation to everybody else. But I'm guessing that this is pretty locked. So if I look above me, I've got Rich. And if I look to my side there, I've got James. Is that how everybody sees it?
Yeah.
Oh,
It is, unless we start playing around with the universe and do things like this.
Oh, no, it's all gone wrong. I definitely... No, I'm seeing things you shouldn't see. Sorry, I was excited by the fact that I could actually like look up Richard, and now I can't. And it's my
Sorry, I'll put you back.
Sort of like a badly dressed Stegosaurus. Now, for
It's like
the little snake. Now, good evening, Gary. Good evening, Victoria. Good evening, Christoph. Good evening, Nadim. Good evening, Mark. Good evening, Alan. Thank you so much.
If you're watching a show and you'd like Richard to say good evening to you in your full name, please put good evening in the comments. If we can get 100, that'll take us the entire hour.
Good evening. Doesn't every lawyer charge by the minute? No, but my favourite prostitute does. Good evening.
Isn't that still James?
Oh,
We don't want to let's talk Trek anymore. We
All
can say what the fuck we
discussions.
want. Right. Good evening, Paula.
hello, Paula.
So my
It's
camera's
so lovely to see you all. So we've actually got, a fair bit of stuff to talk about this week, but we must start with my birthday.
Yes.
Because it was my birthday. Adam, what ho, Adam? Amelia, it's lovely to see you.
Doing it. This is great. Keep going.
So,
Keep saying good evening. Sorry, I'm not
because
saying hello. I'm trying to get my camera to stop following me around the room. Thank you. That's better.
Oh, you've got one of those posh tracking widgety things, haven't you?
Yeah, but it's one of these annoying things that you forget, and you put your hand up, and suddenly it's like it is like a competition. It's if I turn it back on again, I was showing Richard a minute ago. It's come on, where is it? Show me. It goes. It's not going to do it now. It's off. Yeah, how? That's not going to go demonetized and all that. It's not doing anything now. It's you're just pissing me off now.
This is how Skynet starts. It just messes around with you.
as it has been my birthday, I've got some things to show. So we better
yes.
listen.
Sorry, I would like to, before you say that, well done, Christoph. Christoph has recognised that it is a Brian May Red Special.
I think we're going to have to move on to that in a moment. It's going to blow your mind, Christoph. But first of all, it's my birthday, so we're going to do this. So for my birthday, I received a present from my best friend James. It came in a little box, and there we are. Let's see. And with
that. It's a sack of
anti-moisture.
silica dessicant.
By the way, never throw these away. Just chuck them in your gym bag. They honestly, they're so good for keeping your stuff smelling bad. They're really good. So this, and you can buy these by getting in touch with the show to help fund our next build. This is the new Riker's Beard combat. Is really beautiful. It's made out of real metal, and it's magnetized. Yeah, it genuinely, like, to hold in your hand. It's a lot nicer than some official ones that I've had before.
One might say it's the next generation of badges.
It's just, it really is. It's a really nice piece. It's fantastic.
I don't like the fact that you don't have those little pins in the back that just irritate the crap out of your skin for the entire night. Because you've made it magnet now, so you're just getting rid of the pain and irritation that you must have as a member of the Star Trek fan community.
Certain tone. You're a member of the Plagilant Church, then, aren't you? So you're the albino from Da
Thank
Vinci.
you, sir. I have another.
Yeah, that's you then. So the rest of us that have manly hair that don't want to get trapped by difficult pins will use the magnets. But I also received this, which is very nice. So this is a certificate that says I have survived the Kobayashi Maru, and it comes with
What else did it say there, Richard? No win, no glory.
No win, no glory. Yep, that was my chat up line at university.
I survived the Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah, no win, no glory. And it's look at it. It's lovely. It's really nice, and it comes with a little stand, which I haven't assembled yet. Which I'm not going to assemble now.
Riveting television.
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. So I'd love to know in the comments. Obviously, it's my birthday, but it's been Christmas. So did you get any really good Trek gifts? Did you get some shit Trek gifts? Let's be honest. Sometimes you get presents you wanted, you get presents you didn't want. So please do tell us in the comments what you got for Christmas. What didn't you get? What were you expecting to get, hoping to get, didn't get? My wife did not paint herself green and jump into bed as an Orion slave girl, which actually is a relief, as I do all the laundry in our house. But it's But yeah, what did you get for Christmas? Come on, let's hear what Trek related stuff you got for Christmas. I hope at least one of you got the Next Generation Enterprise D Advent calendar. That looked so cool. I really liked that. It did look good. It did look good.
You know, I don't think I got a single Trek related thing this Christmas, so I'm unfortunate.
We'll correct that next year, Tony.
Well, I did get a rather nice tea set from you, which I kind of class as my gift for all year. So, and that was the Enterprise one. So I'm going to class that as
that's.
I did get myself an early Christmas gift, which is technically Star Trek related, which is I found. So I went to the Destination Trek, and I'd never realised that Eagle Moss had made gold-plated versions of the Enterprise. And I had one that was like 750 quid, and I was like, "Oh, that's very nice," and I liked the idea. And then I thought I could just spray myself. And actually, I then found that I bought myself this, and it's the Eagle Moss gold-plated Enterprise, far smaller and about 5% of the price of the one that was being sold. So I bought myself a little gold-plated Enterprise, which is down here next to my Chekhov communicator and my Space 1999 Eagle, because my entire office is just full of nerd stuff, as shown by the X-Wing and the Batmobile. So
it genuinely is really nice. That's and a bargain as well. That Enterprise, it really is lovely.
But I think
Carl,
that's pretty
have
much
you
the only
got
stuff
your Eagle Moss cloak Defiant there?
Yes, but you can't see it because it's cloaked.
Can we see it?
I don't actually have it. No.
No, Carl got his.
Oh, I've got mine. Yeah.
Oh, right.
You see it?
Yeah. 2 seconds. So here's my Eagle Moss cloaked Defiant. Beauty. What do you think to that? I mean, any angle of this
cloak is perfect, isn't it?
It's incredible. Good. I mean, they've just perfected the technology. It's outstanding. Honestly, Tony, with your connections, you should be able to get hold of that.
I mean, it's no gold-plated Malon fighter.
It's not. I've been hunting for years now to get hold of one of those, and
I've only ever seen one.
There's only one. It does exist. The person that owns it doesn't look like he's watching this evening, but it's Richard Ginn won it at the Riker's Beard auction. He's the proud owner of that.
Very proud owner of that.
You're absolutely right. They are incredible. Honestly, they're such good quality. It's weighing in my magnificent pack down. It's really heavy. You bought 2, and they're exactly which are worth a few. They are. They're lovely pieces of history that you can own. And you're right. It is cool, Nadim. Hey, Meg. How are you doing? It's so good to see you. No Trek. No, for me either. This is the thing we have every year at Christmas. There's very little actually sort of Star Trek related stuff. It's difficult to kind of. I mean, there's one episode of Voyager. I think there's a bit from Generations. There's not a lot of Christmas tie-in, is there? It's the way it is.
That's because by the 23rd century, they'd eradicated Father Christmas. They'd actually gone there, blown the shit out of him, got rid of him, carried on.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose you don't need someone to bring you presents if you can just replicate anything you want.
And that's the problem with communism, children.
There we are. We've solved communism. Or as Star Trek's known, luxury space communism.
I think that's one of the things that always used to get me with Star Trek. Is you'd have this thing where they could have whatever you want. It's literally the case of you could create whatever you want as long as you know the coding. And then you'd have these episodes like in when Bones gives Kirk the book. He's like, "Oh, I've bought you a present, and it's a book," and you just want Kirk to go, "That's great," and just scan it and then just like sell it on to the next person because he's got 15 in his now 3D printer thing that he can make.
Well, goodness me.
I'm glad I managed to kill that conversation dead there with my hatred of replication technology.
But replicators can't replicate anything plot important like torpedoes or shuttlecraft, except in Voyager.
We just watched.
Would it be like when you're trying to make like a Mandalorian helmet in like in a 3D printer, and you have to make them in little bits, and then you have to glue them together, and then you have to like sand them down, and then put the Bondo on them? Because that was how they'd have to do it in like when they're building we need to replicate a shuttlecraft. Well, here's bit 1, and here's bit 2, and here's bit 3, and then we got to glue them together and buff them up.
And the instructions are from IKEA.
Yeah.
Here's a tree and some nails.
Oh shit! We've been making it 80% too big.
For the purpose of the game, which will commence in about 5 minutes, I have now pinged Tony and James their assignments for our game of Would I Lie to You? And this week it's going to be a bit more fun because Carl doesn't know who's going to be lying and who's going to be telling the truth. So on your behalf, dear viewer, Carl is going to be interrogating them to see if he can offer some insight. So I think that's a little harsh, Nadim. Let's talk about Discovery, and then you can put that up.
Not long till Discovery's back, boys.
Oh.
Yay.
Joe, I can't wait until the new series of Discovery comes up. Well, that's a bit harsh, Nadim. I don't see why you would...
You wait till we've seen it before you slag it off, Nadim.
Yeah, wait till you've seen it. Come on.
Yeah.
Give it a chance, Nadim.
Oh, dear. It might get better.
They've got 1 season to save it.
Is Book's cat still in it?
Who?
Sorry, who's what?
Book, is it Booker?
Oh, but
David Adamjila. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
he's in
David
this anymore.
Is the cat still in it? Do they still have the cat?
What cat?
Maybe.
The cat was
it's
on
not
his
a
ship.
cat, it's a flurkin.
Well, whatever.
Was there a cat? I don't know.
It's furry. It goes meow.
It's a
As
flurkin.
always, I am so pleased to see there's new Star Trek. Genuinely, so years and years ago, when I still lived in Minnis Bay, before I met James, I was a member of a local Star Trek group who were really snagging off the new Star Trek Abrams reboot films. And I'm like, well, yeah, they're not the Star Trek we know and love, but as long as they're popular, they'll get us more Star Trek. And genuinely, Discovery did this. Season 1 of Discovery and Season 2 gave us such a platform for more Star Trek, and I'll always be grateful to Discovery for that. Of course I will be. Yes, it's not the Star Trek I want, but a lot of people liked it. Enough people liked it. It's given us more Star Trek. So as much as we may criticize Discovery on this show, I will be grateful to it. You know, we'll never get away from that. They are.
Some people like
nice
food
about
music,
Discovery,
and that's fine, as long as they do it somewhere else.
So I think we really need to draw our attention to Tony now and something that's hovering over his left shoulder. Tony has a guitar.
My Highlander poster.
Your
That's
left
your
shoulder,
right
not our. Your
My
left.
Highlander poster is signed by Christopher Lambert.
I saw a wonderful thing about movie location histories. You know the castle that the Gorgon and Sean Connery fight in Scotland didn't exist. They actually built it. I didn't realise they actually built it. It's
you're not
it's
allowed to blow up
wonderful
large
location.
chunks of classic Celtic castles.
Yeah,
like fake thunderstorms.
Who knew?
The thunderstorm wasn't real either. That was a fake.
They go anywhere in Scotland without tripping over a castle.
But over Tony's other shoulder, and we're going to take a walk away from Star Trek here because Tony and I are both music lovers and musicians, and we're going to have a little look at this guitar that's hanging on Tony's wall there. And Tony, would you, if you'll indulge us, dear viewer, have a little look at this guitar, which is signed by I believe is most likely a Star Trek fan.
I'm not sure actually. I know he's
I am.
Yes, it's Brian May. Every year, whenever they do a tour, when Queen do a tour, they will release a certain amount of his Brian May signatures, and basically, they will get released to people who can prove that they've been to the tour, been to see the show. And I'd been to see. My wife and I went to see them and Adam Lambert. 2020 it was booked, but then of course COVID happened, so it didn't happen, and it got delayed, and we got it all through. In the meantime, once COVID ended, and we all started going through this, and we went to see the show, and it was lovely. I went to Showmasters, who run London Film and Comic Con, but they also run Destination Trek. And in the office in Milton Keynes, which is above the National Sci-Fi and Film and Sci-Fi Museum, they had the guitar on the wall. And I remember turning around to them and saying, like, "Oh my God, how do I get one of these? This is amazing." And they explained, well, you have to go and see a show. And I was like, I've been to see a show, and you have to go into the lottery. And I'm like, I wasn't told about a lottery. And so in the end, I went off and had a chat with the guy and showed him my certificates, and sort of said, look, I was here. I did go to it. And then I had to wait until Queen were touring America, which they've just done. And Paul Jones managed to sort of organize bits and pieces so that I now have a Brian May guitar on my wall of absolutely stupid things. So what it is, I mean, come on, let's on it. We start with, we've got Shatner signing a fake cosplay jacket at the top. We have Brian May's guitar that he's played probably while he was signing it. Nico McBrain's drumsticks that he played downstairs in a hotel with me. War the World, Baker Street Irregulars, signed by a cast of small children who didn't even care what the show was, because it was the first ever version of our graphic novel. All of the Doctors from Doctor Who signed, including the ones that no one gives a shit about. It's just random stuff. But it makes me feel good. But yes, so music-wise, I do have Nico McBrain's drumsticks and Bruce and Brian May's guitar.
I'm just looking forward to next week's show when Tony's going to play Brian May's guitar for us, because that's what we all want. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to hear. It is an impressive. So we'll quickly catch up.
I will point out, I will never.
Again,
ever
I think that's very unfair, Nadim.
I will never play guitar for Richard, because on Friday, for Richard's birthday, we went to Denmark Street. And for those of you who don't know Denmark Street, it's basically where most of 60s music and rock started. New Musical Express started there. The Stones auditioned and rehearsed there, things like that. And we went into one shop, and Richard, I think, knew more than the shopkeeper did about a certain guitar, to the point where I think the shopkeeper was scared you were about to try and steal them all from him. But the fact that you knew this and was turning around to James and going, "You need this incredibly expensive guitar. You shouldn't have a normal one. Go for the second expensive guitar," made me realize I'm never going to play a guitar in front of you, because my guitar, I think, costs 30 quid. That one I'm never going to play. But my actual guitar is kind of like the ones that wrestlers hit on the back of each other's heads and stages and stuff.
I now will have an image of you and I at a jam night, and instead of you playing the guitar, you will come on stage as the honky tonk man and attack me with a guitar instead.
See, the problem is, you are a magician. So you are a magician when it comes to music, because you play many instruments. You are very good. You've been in many bands. I was a Campfire Eisteddfod bard who became a live role play bard. So unfortunately, you will be twiddly, 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 and I will be, and he went out from Liverpool, never to return, kind of song, and it will never work.
I consider myself more a drunk thrill seeker when I'm up on stage playing my guitar, as James has witnessed on more than one occasion. And James and I have actually played a gig together.
True.
James,
and then I smashed the guitar over Richard's head and said, "I am not a merry man."
Straight over the head, literally. Good dent there. It was, yes. I
was in a band once with a guy called Paul Mitchell, and I was actually told, the quote I was given was, I was the Cliff Richard of pagan campfire songs, which is possibly not a good thing to be named, but our band was called the Astaroth. Hey, that's a good name for a band. And we once played a esoteric gig in Brighton, but they got the dates wrong, and we found ourselves in front of an entire busload of Canadian born-again Christians, which did not go down well.
Quickly, hello to Richard. Richard is the only known owner of the gold-plated Mainland freighter. What ho, Richard? Yeah. Big respect to you. So there we are. So we're going to move on. Time's running away from us, so we're going to play a little game now. And hopefully, Well, this is an audience participation game. I'll play the sting first, and I'll explain what's going on.
Okay.
Here's the sting. So, in this episode of Ripped Off Would I Lie to You, we're going to have Tony and James explain to us a interesting situation that happened to them whilst they were at a Star Trek convention. Well, doesn't necessarily have to be at a convention, but it's got to be Star Trek related in some way because we are a Star Trek show. Now, Carl this week has no idea. He's completely unprepared. And to be fair, James and Tony are limited preparedness. One of them is going to be telling a lie, and one of them is going to be telling the truth. So we'll start with randomly James, and James is going to tell us what happened to him.
Am I supposed to be writing as well? Because I'm noticing James is doing a lot of writing.
James is prepared. I mean, I don't know.
My special Christmas edition Kent County Council.
He's literally ready to do crimes for the prosecution.
How do we? There we are. How do I get?
Hello.
Right. There we are. So, James. Viewers, please watch, and you have to decide basically what either James or Tony will be telling a lie, or they won't both be telling a lie, or both telling the truth. One will be telling. So you've got to decide whether James or not is lying, and Carl will be asking questions, but not until they've both said their piece. I think that's the only fair way to do this. So, James, tell us about your interesting Star Trek experience.
All right. Well, before I do that, I do have to, for legal reasons, be in touch with my advisors. So I'm just going to put my Feinberg receiver in, and I'll stay in touch with legal throughout. So, in 2014, in Destination Star Trek 2, I returned to the Custom House Hotel and was taken aside to be asked about a rumor I had been in a fist fight with Jason Joyner.
That's it. That's your lie.
That's the story. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Is that okay, legal? Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
Okay.
I've got no props. This is really annoying. Okay.
It'd be terrible to have a Brian May signed guitar on your wall.
I'm not going to sign that in my ear.
First world problems.
Okay, so I think it was 2018. I could be mistaken, but at a Destination Star Trek, while on stage with Connor Trenier and Dominic Keating, I was forced to send James Dillon to a restaurant, cafe, bar, wherever, to buy a packet of Monster Munch, because neither of them would perform a script reading until Connor Trenier tried pickled onion flavored Monster Munch.
To be fair, it is the best flavor.
I mean, they both sound like bullshit to me, but Carl.
They also both sound equally plausible.
We need you to ask the searching questions on behalf of our viewers before they cast their votes, and we'll see who's going to win.
Okay, well, first thing I feel I need to determine is, James, with your particular brand of fable, are we trying to determine whether you did in fact have a fisticuffs with Mr. Joyner, or whether you were asked about the rumor?
I was asked about the rumor.
Okay. Just on a side note, was there any validity in the rumor? No, you don't need to answer that.
On the advice of my colleagues, I declined to answer that.
Okay. Tony, to probe your particular story, pickled onion, surely flaming hot's the best flavour.
Yeah, maybe in the north. We were in London, Carl.
Let me just speak to my lawyers, because my lawyers would like to tell me stuff. Honestly, It wasn't my
Hello,
choice.
Tony. Yeah, what?
It wasn't my choice. Before they'd got on stage, from the green room onwards, Dominic had been going on about Monster Munch pickled onions. Dominic had gone on about it because he was obviously British. Connor had never had them. This became more and more of an argument to the point where, as they got onto stage, Dominic was like, "I don't think I can do this with you if you're going to be like this." And literally, luckily, Riker's beard were walking past in their weird little party costumes with the shorts and everything. I literally had to drag please go and get the Monster Munch, because Dominic was just not. I mean, I don't think Dominic wanted to do it, but you know, he was finding it cute. I think pickled onion Monster Munches was the thing, but yeah, I didn't have a choice in it. I just sat there going, "Dear Christ, what are we going to do if this doesn't happen?" Because the audience were getting a bit twitchy.
Fair enough.
So
I think,
there we have it.
Can
Any
I ask
questions
one
there,
more
Carl?
question that I suppose potentially could be classed as cross-franchise because it bridges both people talking to us about this evening? James, where on earth did you get those Monster Munch from?
So you're asking me to answer questions on Tony's story, right?
Basically, yeah.
Well, it was in Birmingham. It was at the NEC. And having skirted the entire premises of the NEC and having gone outside the area where the show was, I actually found a vendor within the unit.
A kiosk, if you will.
It might have been a kiosk.
I was there. I remember.
Unfortunately, I wasn't at the Trek Monster Munch, so I can't give an answer about how I stopped James twatting Jason Joyner.
So there we are. So there is quite a big delay, so we'll have a big gap here. But in the audience, it's quite simple. If you think that Tony was lying, then write the name Tony. If you think that James was lying, write the name James. Carl will tottle them all up, and we'll see who's won later on in the show.
So
in the meantime,
name the person you think is lying. Is that right?
Yes. So if you think that Tony was the liar, write Tony. If you think that James was the liar, write James. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. That's all you have to do. I think that's a touch judgmental there, Alan.
It's broad, sweeping. Yeah.
So Carl will keep an eye on the scores there whilst everyone has. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching and you're enjoying the show, and even if you're not enjoying the show, please give it the thumbs up, subscribe, and the blowjob face emoji, whatever it is, to enhance our thing. That'd be lovely.
You want to have the blowjob emoji to enhance your thing?
I'm not really into them. They tickle my throat.
Do you just want the Thomas the Tank Engine faces from people? Because if you do the blowjob emoji and then do your hands to the side.
But it's sort of like this. The one that I see is like.
So I carry on.
So while we're waiting for those votes to come in, we've got some. I don't know if we've still got the sting for real news. Let me have a look. See if we've got some real news though. Yeah, we've got some
real news. Yeah, it's true.
There's a new Star Trek film coming out.
Hang on, do the sting.
Sorry, can I just clarify something? Because Christos put about the bits and pieces. He says Connor isn't such a diva for not doing something without them. Connor wasn't the one trying to stop it. Dominic wouldn't do it until we got them to give to Connor.
Yeah. I can't find the real news sting, so we'll use.
I mean, I love Monster Munch. I could see quite why Dominic was hung up on it and why Connor had a taste sensation.
Oh, here it is. We won't have to. Well, we'll use this one anyway because we haven't used it. So here's some real news.
Beneres ne confetto tipo magico te kitchen gizmo. Non ve lo proboscis molto che nagrofos. Te facilos action pumpo.
I've actually found it. Hang on, wait. So
I could actually see Tony then trying to figure out how Kitchen Gizmo was related to news.
Genuinely was going, have I got the wrong feed?
Action
haven't yet.
football.
So, real news. We've got a new Star Trek film in development. And this is official now, confirmed by Paramount. So there's going to be a chick in it. She'll be lame and gay. And we've got we've got confirmation that J.J. Abrams is coming back to do another Star Trek film, and it's going to be.
Oh, it's not Tarantino then.
No,
Not Tarantino. No,
It's
it's
not
going to be
Reservoir Starships.
not Reservoir Star. The thing is, going off piste here, like everyone was like, "Oh, Tarantino does a Star Trek film." It'd be like, Tarantino loves the source material. He generally would not do a Tarantino film.
well, he wanted to
loves-
redo effectively. He wanted to redo a piece of the action.
Yeah, he loves the
cool.
source material so much. He loves the message. I read an interview with him. He loves the message of Star Trek so much. I've no doubt in my mind he'd do it justice. But it's unlikely it's going to happen. I mean, he got the only Academy Award he got was for Django Unchained, wasn't it? He's not a mainstream director they'd want to put him to do it. But either way, we've got new on the offing, and we've been told the only thing we've been officially been told is going to be pre-Kirk and Spock. That's all we've been told officially. That's what's in development, and J.J. Abrams will do. So I'm guessing, and I'm taking a chunk here to say they're going to be doing something with the Star Trek Enterprise era, with Archer and T'Pol and the rest of them. And I'm really on board with that. I think that's brilliant. I think Enterprise is such an underrated show. Loved it. Gutted when it was cancelled. I think they had some of the best Star Trek moments ever, really. I thought it's absolutely brilliant. So
I would. Have they confirmed it's definitely before Kirk, or they said it's not
it's gonna be pre-Kirk. They said pre-Kirk and Spock is what they said.
I was really hoping that they would do the Next Generation and cast Picard with James McAvoy in a bald wig. I think he would do such a good job.
Stuart or McAvoy. It's so hard to tell those guys apart.
I'd be happy. I'll be happy for that. By the way, get your votes in. If you haven't voted whether Tony's a liar or James yet, please jump in the comments and say who's the liar. But yeah, I'm really excited by this. I'm presuming it's going to be Enterprise, Archer, which I really thought. I mean, season 1 was a bit crap, but in all honesty, I thought it was one of the best shows that did their own thing and homage at the same time. Like little bits like T'Pol's having the double eyelids and everything, and they made little nods is not enough respect. They showed huge amounts of homage to the original source material when they did Enterprise, a lot more than I think more recent shows like Discovery and Nadim have done. And I thought Enterprise was brilliant and it deserved a bit more. It did not deserve to get cancelled when it did. So
It's not
they're going to make
the ending it got for a start. So I'd love to see Abrams continue it.
But at the same time, please don't expect to see, Abrams is not going to deliver Golden Trek. That's not what he does. He's going to deliver an action movie with a Trek stamp on it.
And lens flare.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
so
hang on. So, I mean, Christoph's point here, Trip's dead, isn't he, at the end of Enterprise?
that means nothing.
Replicators.
Yeah.
They can make bits of him in a replicator and just like glue
And
them
sand them
together.
down.
A bit of Bondo.
I mean, you got Scott Bakula back. That's all you need, really, isn't it?
He's gone off again.
Scott
Ah,
Bakula,
there, it's proving your point, Tony. It works.
I feel like Tony's trying to dodge a sniper. I'm not.
He's just got Mrs. Tony moving the camera behind the screen.
Sorry.
So back to tonight's quiz. How are we doing, Carl?
Well, it's fairly unanimous.
Okay.
The votes I've been seeing, the official votes that are voted in the prescribed manner, currently have it that the number of people believing that Tony is not believable is 7.
Right.
And the number of people believing that James isn't believable is 2.
Yeah, but are you going to listen to the
wow.
masses or are you going to go with your own mind?
That's quite a big
well,
number.
Ultimately, it's not down to me. It is down to our viewing audience.
But before we reveal the winner, though, Carl, I'd like to know your answer.
My gut instinct is that I don't think Tony's is quite the truth. I've heard similar tales coming out, but with slight variations on the theme. So I'm going to go with, unfortunately, Tony. I would say you're not telling the truth on this occasion.
It was roast beef, pickled monster mash.
Yeah, it was flame grilled, wasn't it? It was.
They were in the north.
Are we giving
like
the answer, or are we not giving the answer? Because usually at this point, the person says if they're telling the truth or lying, but I don't know if we're now going
Yes.
to.
I shall now.
Let's reveal. So
I shall
the
reveal
people
now
think
who.
that Tony was telling a lie. Tony,
Tony-
were you
Tony-
telling the truth or a lie?
It was a lie, believe it or not, stunningly. But weirdly, it wasn't quite a lie because the only difference in the story was that Dominic Keating wouldn't do it unless he was given a drink. And we had to send the Wakers Beard guys to a bar to get him a drink because he was a little bit of a diva, shall we say.
He was
Basically,
refusing to do it sober,
Yeah.
which I've done.
The problem we had with it, and I'll be honest, and it was I felt sorry for them, is I think Connor Trenier is amazing. I think he's one of the most fun Enterprise guests I've seen, and he's not really a big Star Trek fan. So, well, not a fan, but he doesn't know it. He doesn't know it that well. So the script reading, they gave him an original Trek script to do the script reading, and Dominic didn't want to do it because, as far as he was concerned, I'm not being paid to act. I'm being paid to be here and sign things. And Connor was, I don't know who these people are. So there was this element of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, and Connor wasn't sure how to play it, and he was worried about looking foolish in front of people. And it was only about 20 minutes into the script reading that he suddenly realized no one gives a shit how I am here. Everyone just wants to have fun. And then he really got into it, and he really sort of hit it. And as he started getting into it, then Dominic got into it.
What was the script? What were you reading?
Oh, I just generically can't remember. I just remember it was so stressful. But I just remember it was an original TOS script, and it was a scene with. I think there's one bit with Uhura, and by this point, Connor's like, "I'll be Uhura," and he was just basically playing it. But he was one of the most humble people I've ever met because on the same year, on the Sunday morning, LeVar Burton was supposed to be doing an interview very early in the day, and his throat he lost his voice. Not so bad that he couldn't sit in a green room and talk to his friends, but he lost his voice and couldn't do the panel. So they put together a very quick engineers panel. And it was Connor Trenier being like, obviously the engineer of the Enterprise and basically most of ESA. And it was great because we had this panel and we're just chatting away and going on it. And Connor had started off going, I can't go on this because I'm just an actor. These guys, they know what they're doing. These are experts. And halfway through it, when they're going on about the fact that, whenever we have an air leak, we just cover it with gaffer tape and stuff. There's an element you can see he just got so fascinated into it, he forgot he was on stage. And he was just like, really, tell me more about this. And it was brilliant. And that was the point I think I went, yeah, you are now becoming the guy that everyone wants to see on every panel.
If I may take a moment just to benefit from having Tony on the show here, we've asked this. We've been really lucky. No, we have been really lucky to have some. Do you remember we had James Swallow, and we've had some real. And Tony is a real celebrity. It's one of these things whereby you've got to be professional, but also you've got to be enjoying it at the same time. I mean, that's got to be difficult. That's got to be hard not to be like, oh wow, I'm so happy to be here with, and also be so good because when you do your panels and your talks, you do it so well, and I don't mean this as a compliment. It's almost like you don't give a fuck about them, which is how it should be. See, I
don't want to obviously take over on the conversation side of it, but yeah, I mean, there's an element to that. I mean. I'm a Star Trek fan. I've been a fan since I was a kid. I mean, funny enough, when we were first talking about doing the lies and the truth, I suggested one where, because I literally was on The Big Breakfast in the 90s as a Star Trek medical officer. And I threw a giant styrofoam ball at Robbie Williams' head and hit him live on TV. These things, You know, you can't believe half the things that you would do, but you go on stage and there's elements. There's certain people that you can go on stage with and you know you'll have a laugh no matter what. There's moments where you're utterly petrified. I mean, I interviewed Will Shatner on stage, and Will Shatner doesn't like people interviewing him. And I was expecting him not to want to be interviewed. And literally, I went onto the stage and went, right, I'm just going to like wave you on and then leave. And they were like, no, you got to carry on. And it was 5 minutes into the talk when I realized that he thought I was someone else. And he thought because he was all about working with friends. And he goes, you know, there's friends you only see at conventions like us. And I'm going, yeah, Bill, like us, thinking I'm going to die. But you just have to just go with it. You just have to kind of pretend that everything's going fine. And as it was brilliant, you know. And then we came off stage and someone passed me a thing I'd got Walter Koenig to sign. And obviously Will Shatner's staring at me going, what, I'm not signing this? And I felt really bad. And I just said, well, you're not Kirk to me, you're Denny Crane. And he was just like, Denny Crane, and just went off on a big thing. But with a lot of them, they have the same stories time and time and time again. And they hate it. Because it's like, oh, here we go for this story now, and here we go for that story now. And it was the best thing. And I know it's a really weird thing to say, but it's the best thing about this summer when we did Destination Trek. We couldn't ask questions about Star Trek. We couldn't ask the things that they were always being asked.
It was the most incredible thing ever. They got in touch with James and I and said, we've heard about your show where you prattle on for an hour. It's a Star Trek show and you don't talk about Star Trek. They said, we need you.
That was the thing. Ethan Phillips was really nervous because he's convinced he's hated by the fandom anyway. He thinks
he's a wonderful human being, isn't he? He really is such a nice guy.
And he's like, I'm not a fan favorite. And I said, look, you'll be great. And he was literally sitting in the green room, and he goes, well, what are you going to ask me on stage? No one's going to care. And I said, well, I was thinking about asking you about the time where Tennessee Williams sat in front of you and dictated an entire soliloquy for you to say that night on stage. And he just looked at me and he was like, how did you know that? And I was like, because I do the research. And you have to. I mean, when Patrick Stewart,
you probably even knew what size his underwear was, didn't you?
I knew everything. I still do. I got cameras on him.
You'd said it all.
In fact, Patrick Stewart, basically, he was behind the stage and he was going, I don't really want to ask questions about this, and I'm a bit worried about this. You know, what are you going to ask me? And I went, I'll be utterly honest, Patrick. I don't give a shit about Star Trek. I want to talk about you in Excalibur. And he went, oh, okay. Well, you know, that's great. You know, and I goes, my first story is going to basically be, why? And tell me about the bottle of whiskey. Because he started his acting career with a bottle of whiskey. And that was the thing. And once he realized it wasn't going to be so when you play Captain Picard, do you do this? He was just relaxed and he was a lot better. But I do have a definite ego complex where I am better than the people on stage with me. And therefore, as far as I'm concerned, they can just bow to my love and my attention. So therefore, I can be quite evil and cruel to them. To be perfectly honest.
I don't think there's any other way.
When Anson Mount and Ethan Peck walked on stage at an opening ceremony, and I'm not that way, but even I had to go, oh, because there was a lot of beefsteak walking onto the stage at that point.
And that was even after you'd spent the lunchtime with us.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. You know, who else is worth talking to apart from that? You know,
we're extremely lucky. I mean, and I say this wholeheartedly, we are extremely lucky to have been to the events we've been to and to meet the people we've met, including yourself, Tony, including yourself, Carl. You know, you make friends for life and you have experiences for life. And I think for me personally, that's what going to Star Trek conventions is about. You know, no matter what you're taking away from it, that's why you go. And we had a thoroughly lovely time at the last one in Birmingham. And I'm really looking forward to the next one that's not in Blackpool. So, we've got sorry, what was that, Tony? The next one?
All during the same weekend as San Diego Comic Con, which is why I.
Or the San Diego, yes. If Tony wants to bring us along, pass for two, we're more than happy obliged. But we had a clear winner then, didn't we? So James lost again. Is this right? No, Tony lost.
Tony
well,
lost
I lost
because
they were
the audience routed him out.
The audience believed that Tony was lying, and therefore, I assume, either they believed I was telling the truth or thought he was less plausible.
No, I think basically when Carl cleverly got James to join into my lie, and James can't lie because he is a lawyer, he failed and therefore gave away the ruse, because he actually made out that there was actually a business open at the NEC during the weekend where you could buy crisps.
You should have said the newsagents between stages, James. People would have
In
believed
fairness,
that.
Tony, I spent, I think, 15 minutes running around the NEC trying to find a bar.
Yeah.
There's a bloody big Weatherspoons!
I found the Weatherspoons, but then the guy on the door said, you can't bring drinks through the door. So I then had to go back around, and I found a bar inside the NEC. So I knew you were probably going to be struggling, but I did turn up with 2 whiskies. And then you'll guess.
Honestly, once Dominic had his whiskey, Dominic was also pissed off at me as well, and I will point out, because he made a big thing about how he's sick of Star Trek, people wanting him to sign Star Trek stuff, and he's an actor and done other stuff. And I pulled out a DVD of the Asylum's Sherlock Holmes, and went, "Would you sign this for me, please?" And he just sort of stared at me like, "Are you taking the piss?" And I'd like, go, "No, look, that's the writer and that's the producer." And I asked him to sign it because it's one of the funniest films I've ever seen. It's not supposed to be.
Well,
there's a drinking game for it. You can find all the parts of the Asylum's Sherlock Holmes starring Gareth David Lloyd from Torchwood and Dominic Keaton on YouTube, and you can play the drinking game. It's quite good. You'll be drunk within the first half.
Well, I generally do like Dominic Keaton's character, and James and I did interview him way back in Birmingham before we met you, Tony, or before I met you, and he was actually.
No, I've known James for years.
Well,
you're just a hanger on.
I'm just a hanger on, but I'm like a Klingon. But we met him, and he was. It was quite early in the morning. He was actually really nice. He was very obliging. He was actually quite a cool guy. And back to what you were saying, it's because of what we asked him about, because I wasn't interested much in Star Trek or anything. I wanted to ask him about the legendary fight scene he did with the Mako, which since then has become an object of slight ridicule. But however, it was an intense thing he did. He said it was the hardest day shoot done in his life, and it was a really good fight scene. He did Desmond. Yeah. Sorry.
And he did Desmond's.
He did Desmond's, did he?
Are we still on about Dominic Keating?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
He
in
did
Desmond.
a really good fight scene, yeah.
That's what he cut his teeth on, basically doing the Channel 4 comedy Desmond's.
Really?
It's true.
This is why a good interviewer is so crucial.
In fairness, I've never seen Desmond's, so I. But yeah. So, oh gosh, we're coming close to time now. So
can we just address this?
Yeah, what have you got written on there, James?
The story that I told.
Yeah, you can't read it.
I see. There's the legends. Look, the story I told was that I was taken aside to ask about whether I had been in a fist fight with Jason Joyner, and
because you were telling the truth, weren't you?
Alan Window says lawyers lie, and then says, but twatting Jason Joyner is believable. But the person who asked me about that rumor, Alan, was you.
Was Alan?
And yes, that did happen. I wasn't involved in a fist fight with Jason or anyone else, but I came back from my cousin's wedding, which happened to fall in the middle of Destination Trek 2, to be asked, have you been in a fist fight with Jason Joyner? I went, what? Well, eh?
I would like to disclose now that James has never been in a fist fight with anyone.
Can I just
nor ever will be.
Can I just confirm that what you're saying here is the truth that you gave in the story? The person who asked you is one of the people who was deciding on whether I was lying or not. Yes. Therefore, I think this is a miscarriage of justice and should be claimed as a draw. Because it's obviously rigged in James's
Tony, even if you take that out of the equation, people still got you.
No, because obviously Alan's posts would have flavoured that in the same way of 12 Angry Men. I'm just saying. Just saying. I think I would have had a lot better.
So which 12 Angry Men? I mean, I'm the James Stewart one, but the remake with John Goodman's bloody good. Oh,
James Stewart, wait.
They're both.
Oh, Vicky, we can
masterpieces.
find new fantasies for you with James if that's the way you really want to be.
James, which way is the beach?
That away.
Yeah. So, I think you just competed
your
Tony's
camera started
fancy there as
tracking
well,
again.
there, James.
Keep going again. Oh god! Oh no! Wait, hang on a second. This is great. I can actually be like the Enterprise in the original Star Trek. Sorry, carry on.
Hang on, try it again, Tony. There you go.
Oh, hang on. Do I still have it?
That's really. Hang on, wait. Let's do that again. Wait. Go on.
Oh, it doesn't do it.
That's great. So we haven't got much to report here on the bridge of the Riker's Beard. Other than that, we're going to be at the charity event. I can't pronounce it right. The Folks Ball, the Falls Ball, the Fable. How do we do it? Balls Ball. Faux Ball.
French. Faux.
We're going to be appearing at the Faux Ball. We're not entirely sure how we're going to be appearing yet, but we're going to be there in February. And if you
magic.
Well, yeah. So, because there's no sci-fi ball this year, so a bunch of people organised by the fabulous Zoe Sayers are getting together, and we're going to try and raise some money for charity anyway. We've got a few different ways we're going to be doing this for the Macmillan's Teenage Cancer Trust. That's the chosen charity. So, as there's no official ball, we're going to do our very best to raise some money for that fabulous charity anyway. So, we'll have some more details to come in the next Riker's Beard live show. But if you can find your way to get it. Sorry, go on.
When is the ball?
Do it again. When is the ball? That's a very good question, James.
It's the second weekend in February, and it takes place at the Grand Harbour Hotel in Southampton.
9th of Feb, I believe.
There are no tickets or anything. It's just to sort of turn up.
It's just to get together, and we're going to be doing some. There's various things we're going to be doing to try and raise some money for the Teenage Cancer Trust. So, if you can be there, that would be fabulous. We'd love to see you there. It's a very good cause. Again, it's not an official event, so it's kind of being played by ear a lot. And Zoe's doing a wonderful job of trying to organise it. So we'll have more details of that to come, I'm sure. There will be games. Would you like to play a game? You can offer fist fights. Or, generally, I thought people could fight me for money. I'm happy with that. Like if you can stay in the. Watch.
Look, it's a port. We can just go down the docks and pick.
We're going to go completely off piste here because that's what we do. But I watched the reboot of Gladiators today on the BBC. It was brilliant. It was so good.
No, it wasn't. It was rubbish.
It was amazing.
One of the guys was actually doing it and didn't know what the game was.
It was brilliant. I loved it.
Started going back the other way.
David Clattenburg was the referee. It was amazing.
It was so no longer the same when Worf stopped being on it.
It was just brilliant. I loved it, and we can wait. If someone
Scotsman as a referee,
no, he wasn't Scottish. It was David Clattenburg. He was a cake. But if someone wants to fight me, if someone can stay in the ring with me for 2 minutes or more, there's £100 prize, or they have to pay £100, and that's money for Teenage Cancer Trust. More than
hang on, sorry, what's the £100 thing?
You fight me if you can stay alive. I don't know, conscious. You can stay conscious.
£100 to fight you.
Okay, let's make it a minute. If you can stay conscious in the ring with me for a minute, then you win £100. If not, you give £100 to charity. And no running away.
Or Richard beats you in the fight, just takes your wallet and donates everything in it to the charity.
I could do that instead.
After he's bought a round of drinks.
Yeah.
If I make it £200, can I sort out mud, a small paddling pole?
Tony, do you want some mud
fantasy again, aren't we?
The thing,
Unfortunately, I won't be there, but
I'm genuinely, I'm not very good at that. I'm more a striker. I'm not very good at grappling. So if you're more an MMA fighter or a judo person, then
Oh, it's a shame I can't make it. I'm used to launching people out of pubs.
again,
I'm used to the whole grab hold and
fighting me. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Yeah. But in all seriousness, it is for a good cause, and it'd be great. There's 35 people are confirmed with book rooms to go at a hotel. That there isn't even an official convention going on. I think that's wonderful. I really do. I think that's absolutely superb that people A, want to get together, B, want to get together for a good cause, and C, Zoe and Glenn, I believe, that have organised it, have made this happen. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So
yeah,
I'm really looking forward to going, to seeing you all. I believe there's going to be all kinds of events going on. It's a shame you can't come, Carl. If you and Tracy
full permission from the present Mrs. Dillon yet, that's on my list of things to do.
But I'm certain it's going to be a very relaxed weekend, whereby because there's nothing official, so we'll just find like local restaurants to go out and have a meal in and go bowling and things like that. So it's going to be very informal. It's going to be a lovely weekend. There's a couple of friends of mine that live in Southampton that Trekkies that have never even been to a convention or anything that are interested in coming. So it's one of those things where I think it'd be a good gateway level drug. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. But either way, it's going to be a fantastic experience, I'm sure.
come and have some gateway level drugs in Southampton with Richard Ashby.
Why not? Why not? Come and experience a tattooed sailor.
In a mud pit with Richard.
In a mud pit. I mean, I'm not so keen on that. I'm not a good wrestler.
On this marble surface, I've laid out 2 lines of powder. One is cocaine and the other is orange sherbet. But which is which?
Well, James, you do have 2 nostrils. But we've gone over time. And we're aware that when we go over time, we lose viewers. It's been splendid, everyone that's tuned in this evening to see us. So here's the weird thing. So Carl and Tony, you probably don't. You're looking up the corner, seeing our viewing figures. That we're not sure how this works with StreamYard.
I don't see viewing figures.
Yeah, it's not a true. It's a weird thing. Like well, past couple of weeks, there's been literally hundreds of people viewing that we've not seen on these stats. But either way, if you're watching and you haven't commented, liked, subscribed, said hello, like this wonderful person here, this wonderful person here. It's, please do come back and see us next week. We're back next week, and it will be fantastic to see you. And if you could hit that like, subscribe button, and it helps us in a way. No, thank you for watching, Paula. Genuinely, this is the thing. It's fantastic. We sit here and talk bollocks for an hour, and you guys watch, and that's absolutely it's absolutely fantastic. And the amount of people that do message the show and say how much they look forward to it and everything, it really does mean a lot. It's very kind of you guys. So we're going to sign off now, and a massive thank you to our special guest star Tony, our special guest star Carl, and to James, who's just standard. It's just I look forward to this every week, but even more so when I've got fantastic gentlemen to be around, and you guys that are watching us. It's just absolutely lovely. So for this evening, please do look after yourselves and each other.
Don't have nightmares.